What's up guys, Michael from Halfway back with a brand new video. Today I am going to be talking about something that I honestly didn't think I was going to be talking about. I didn't think I was going to really have many thoughts on this when I was going into it. I thought I was going to have like a fun enough time with it, but then I left feeling more burned than I have been with the MCU in a very long time. So let's talk about Captain America Brave New World today. I want to start this off actually by saying I don't like being negative online really anymore. And I'm probably a hypocrite when I say that, but I really do try my best to not make a video just shitting all over something. Like I'm of the mind that I would rather talk about things that I enjoy and that I'm positive about rather than just like shitting on something. Like I feel like the internet is filled with that as it is. I have my fair share of things that I don't really like, but I would rather just not focus on that, and I would rather focus on the things that I do enjoy. That's why like originally I wasn't even sure if I was going to make a video on this, because I knew I wasn't really going to love Captain America Brave New World. All the trailers and rumors of reshoots and just everything about it, just I didn't think I was going to love this movie going into it, but I walked out feeling very just burned, honestly, like just very, very disappointed. And I realized that I do want to talk about it, but not necessarily pile on it like everyone else is by saying, oh, this movie's bad and this movie sucks. Like it's not just that. It has a lot of like genuine issues with the overall state of the MCU right now that I do kind of just want to talk about a little bit. I want to start this off by saying some of the positive things though. I do love Anthony Mackie as Captain America. I love his Sam Wilson. I know a lot of people wanted Bucky to become Captain America, but I really do think that it makes sense for Sam Wilson to take up the mantle of Captain America. I love Anthony Mackie in this movie. He is not the issue with this movie, and I really hope Marvel doesn't think that he's the issue with this movie. And it's nice because I've seen a lot of people online even be pointing this out. They're like, it's not necessarily him. Like, he's not the issue. The issue is the scripts they keep giving this guy, and I'll get into that in a second, but I got some more positive things to talk about. I also do like Harrison Ford in this movie. That being said, I do feel like he's miscast. I don't think he does a bad job at all. He does a great job. But at least for me, he's just too likable to be General Ross. Like, I love William Hurt. It's a shame that he unfortunately did pass away before he was able to make this movie, because again, that's another person where it felt like it was building up to him becoming Red Hulk for so long. And it sucks that he wasn't around to be able to finally portray this character. I don't think Harrison Ford did bad at all. Like I said, I really do like him, and he's a very likable character and actor in this movie. But I don't know. General Ross to me is kind of a dickhead, and he has those moments of being a dickhead, but I don't know. Something about Harrison Ford is just so inherently likable that I didn't hate him. Like, I never really hated him. And by the end of the movie, he's a nice guy, dude. Like, low-key, he's a nice guy. Compare that to, like, every other interpretation we've seen of General Ross in the movies before this. Like, I've never ended the movie like, oh, General Ross is kind of a cool guy. He's just a dick. And I feel like William Hurt portrayed that character so well. So it's just a shame. Part of me wishes that they got like Sam Elliott back from the original Hulk movie. I thought that would have been really cool. And, you know, we do like the multiverse thing anyway now, so it wouldn't have been weird. I thought it would have been cool if they brought him back to be Red Hulk, but I do like Harrison Ford. That's why it's kind of like a mixed bag kind of thing for me, where it's like, I like him in this movie, but I do feel like he was miscast. For me, he's just too likable. And that's kind of like where my positives really end with this movie, unfortunately. Like I said, I wasn't going into this expecting to love it, but I really did think I was going to have more fun with it than I did. Like I was saying when I was talking about Anthony Mackie in this movie, it is such a shame, honestly, that it feels like Marvel is just throwing him under the bus a little bit by giving him these very underwhelming projects. I honestly think that Falcon and the Winter Soldier should have been Captain America 4, because it just feels, and they even promoted it pretty much as like a 6-episode miniseries event that, you know, as we know now, these 6-episode miniseries are essentially just movies that they cut up into episodes, made them bloated, and put on Disney Plus because they needed more content on Disney Plus. Like, I have a lot of issues with the MCU and their Disney Plus output that I'll maybe get into in another video, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier was definitely an early victim of that because it really makes this movie feel more like a Disney Plus movie that got released theatrically, because our first introduction to this character was a Disney Plus show. So he makes the jump to the big screen, but it just feels like a Disney Plus movie, bro. Like, the writing isn't great. It's just very surface level, very basic. The CGI is the worst it's maybe ever been. Like, it's just not great. There are shots in this movie that are blurry, and I'm like, is that like an artistic choice, or did they forget to like to focus the like, I don't know. And I hate that I sound like a snobby film student, but it's like, these are things that I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? The other thing I don't really love in this movie is the new Falcon, and I blame the writing more than the actor, but it feels like we gave a comedic relief character, Sam Wilson, we gave a comedic relief character his own comedic relief side character. And it's like, his jokes are way less funny, and he's just, for me, annoying. Like, he's just really annoying in this movie. And the pacing is just so quick. It just moves so fast. They don't let anything just like breathe. And again, there's not really anything that happens in this movie, which is another issue that I have. It really feels like if you watch the trailer, then you've seen the movie, you know? And it's like, I get that you have to reveal certain things. Like, one of the biggest things that people are talking about in this movie, Red Hulk feels like the twist in the movie, and it got ruined by the marketing. And I do understand that. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't really know how you could have promoted this movie without showing Red Hulk. It seems like it was literally impossible. So the whole movie does build to this moment of General Ross finally turning into Red Hulk, but because you know that it's coming and you've seen literally every single scene with Red Hulk in it in the trailer, it doesn't hit as hard. And you're just kind of like, oh, cool. So this was the twist in the movie. And it's tough because, like, again, I don't really know how you would have promoted the movie without showing that, but it makes me wish that they had more going on in the actual movie. Maybe a better twist, or maybe just, I don't know, something better, or even just having the Red Hulk section be more satisfying. I think that's another issue. It's like, you get to this moment that you already know is coming, so it's like, okay, you already lost the element of surprise. Why don't we do something really cool? But they don't. It's literally just a showdown between Sam Wilson and Red Hulk, which again is fucking insane. Like, before the movie, one of the biggest like questions was like, how is he gonna fight Red Hulk without the super soldier serum? And this is something they even go into in the movie, where they're like, he's like, I'm not Steve Rogers, like, I think I need the super soldier serum. And they're like, no dude, you don't need it. And to be quite honest, I don't think he does need it, because he's able to fucking 1v1 Red Hulk without the super soldier serum, and he's fine. Doesn't break any bones, doesn't severely hurt himself. He's fine. And it's just like, man, I don't know. I feel like Steve Rogers like got his shit fucked up more than Sam Wilson does in this movie. And then there's so many moments throughout this that are just like very corny and like laugh out loud and just not great. The design of the leader is just so bad. I know it's hard to like make him look good, I guess, in live action, but like he somehow looks worse. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to get too much on the shitting on it part, but like, it's just not good. Like, it's not good. And I see people trying to defend it, right? They're saying like, oh, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, or I had fun with it, or I don't know why everyone's hating on it. And this is why I am hating on it, and this is why I have a huge issue with it. In the past, Marvel has done a very good job at learning from their mistakes, like throughout the entire Infinity Saga and even into like the Multiverse Saga. It felt like they would do something and fans would have like a certain reaction to it, and they would fix it or make it better later on, or they would have some sort of payoff to a certain like creative decision that they made. An example for that is like Spider-Man and the whole Homecoming trilogy. Like, a lot of people didn't really like how he was Iron Man Jr. and all that, but then they kind of wrap it up as this becoming like his origin story trilogy, which I think works really well. But with Captain America Brave New World, I'm kind of just left thinking like, okay, what are we doing here? I don't get how you make a movie like Thor: Love and Thunder, see the intense negative reaction to that, and then you make something like this. Like, it's just, it felt like they knew it wasn't going to be very good. I saw I don't remember if it was a comment or I don't know who said this. I saw it somewhere, but they were like, the vibe that this movie gives off is like they had a school project that was due in a couple days and they just put something out. It felt like they didn't really want to make this movie, but the release date was coming up so fast and they just needed to put something out, because that's really how it comes off. It's essentially Incredible Hulk 2, which is weird to give Sam Wilson, and it could have worked, but it's just so bland and cookie cutter that it's like, did you guys want to make this? It feels like the only person that wanted to make this movie was Anthony Mackie. And that's why it's so frustrating that they keep giving him these underwhelming projects and is making general audiences turn against him, because it's like, why would they be invested in this character if you've given him one mediocre TV show and one not very good movie? It's like you're not giving him anything to work with, and you're keeping him in this box of he's not as cool as Steve Rogers. And it's upsetting, dude. It's really upsetting. At one point, like, Isaiah Bradley talks to Sam Wilson and he's like, I don't like that you're just shaking hands with the president and being all cool with him and like doing all this. And it feels like they're kind of doing like some sort of setup for later on in the movie where Sam Wilson realizes that, like, yeah, he shouldn't really be working with the government. He should be kind of like forging his own path. And I don't mean to compare him to Steve Rogers, but like Steve Rogers did, where he realized that like the government isn't, as trustworthy as they try and make themselves seem. And you never really get any sort of resolution on that. Sam Wilson just kind of sticks to his guns and acts as like the government Captain America. He's literally very much like if U.S. agents stayed Captain America. Like, he's doing missions for them. He's reporting directly to the president. He's like doing all these things. And it's like, you don't feel like Captain America to me. You feel like the government's Captain America. That's just like something, in my opinion, that goes very against who Captain America is. And I'm not saying Steve Rogers. I'm saying just Captain America as a title. The one thing I always thought was so interesting about him was how he was so anti-government. He was more for the people. So you go into this movie and he's just doing missions for the government and being like, I don't know, like a pseudo bodyguard for the fucking president. Like, it's just weird. It doesn't feel like Captain America to me. And I don't blame Anthony Mackie for that. I blame the writing. And I'm at a point with Marvel where I walk out of this movie and I'm just like, have they just forgotten how to make good superhero movies? Like, I hate admitting that. I really do. I've given them like every single out that I possibly could up until this point, because I was always like, they'll figure it out. They'll pick it up. And I was giving this movie a pass because I was like, you know what? It was made during the dark times where they were focusing on Disney Plus and all their movies were all over the place and they didn't really have any connecting tissue. But I walk out of that movie and I'm like, that still shouldn't be an excuse for how lazy this feels. I'm worried that we're at a point now where they don't know how to make genuine superhero movies anymore. It doesn't feel like anything is genuine. And I hate admitting that. I hate being part of that echo chamber, but it's like, this was not good. And I'm only making a video about it because I feel like they need to know that this was not good and that this is not passable. I'm not blaming the people necessarily involved. I'm blaming Marvel as a whole, because I don't know how you watch this movie and decide it's worth putting out. And honestly, dude, it feels like they knew that it wasn't worth it, and they knew that it wasn't worth putting out, but they had to put this out because they already filmed it, or they needed a new Captain America movie, and they just were like, fuck it, put out Brave New World. And it feels like just a corporate made Captain America movie. And it does make me worried about the future of the MCU. For a long time, I've been saying like the Fantastic Four movie, that's literally like the decider of how the MCU is going to be going forward. And if they mess that movie up, then I just feel like they're going to lose a lot of people. Like, they cannot mess up Fantastic Four. But after Brave New World, I'm definitely a lot more worried for Fantastic Four, honestly. Like I really am. And I'm definitely worried about Thunderbolts now. Like I don't know. It just Marvel's been up and down so much lately, and I for the first time maybe ever, I feel way more down about the MCU than I ever have, because it's just like, how did we get here, dude? I think audiences deserve better than what this is. I think Anthony Mackie and the cast and the crew, like we all deserve better than Captain America Brave New World. Also, wait, why is Bucky a fucking congressman in this movie? Like, whose decision was that? What is going on, dude? That is like the least Winter Soldier transition for him of all time. Why the fuck is he a congressman, bro? That is the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard.